What's going on, good people? Here with Jedediah Poulsen of Innovative Custom Coatings. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for booking this. Love to hear a little bit about what you got going on, man. Tell me about the business. What's going good? What's going not perfect, but soon to be.
Yeah, I've been in Brevard for about 14 years now. It's going pretty good.
Cool, man.
Basically started my own company when the recession hit back in '09. And between '09 and 2011, I started my own company. Everything's been good. Getting to the point now where I need some structure.
Okay.
I'm growing pretty fast. I got a lot of bids out, a lot of stuff, and I just want to get this thing organized. I've always just been shoot from the hip type of guy, and
Yeah,
that's
yes.
not working anymore.
Yeah, we call that surviving, not
Yeah,
thriving. We got to get you to
yeah,
thriving, right?
exactly.
Oh, man. I want to go down to the foundation, brother, because once I know the why, then I can give you the how. What is the reason why you want to scale the business? What's the reason behind it, man, on a deep level? What is it? What is going to
I
push
want
you
to
to
leave something for my family.
okay? Legacy? Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much my main reason.
You want to leave something good for your family.
Yeah, I want to leave something good for my
You don't want to
family.
leave a you don't want to leave them a burden. That is a powerful legacy, man. Some
Yeah,
people give their family the family business, and it's not a gift. So you want to give them a gift, man. It's awesome.
right.
So what are the operations like, man? What's your role in the business? What kind of services do you provide? What does your day to day look like?
We do high-end custom repaints. We do a lot of faux finish, a lot of epoxy floors and things like that. I have a background as an artist, so a lot of faux finish and just we try to offer a lot of stuff that people aren't offering here in Brevard, at
Okay,
least not on our scale. And so Venetian plaster and things like that.
got it.
I originally came from Naples, and there's a very high-end market there, so I like to bring that type of quality here with me to Melbourne. Day-to-day operations, we normally doing about a job a week, and we're
Okay,
really just taking on anything that comes our way, to stay busy. So
got you.
we'd like to be to a point where I can pick and choose what I want to do, but right
If
now
you
it's
had to
just
pick, what would you pick?
I would pick epoxy floors.
Smart. Yeah. Why? Tell me why. Why do you?
They're a lot more profitable. I can
Yeah.
teach someone how to grind. I can teach
Okay.
someone how to lay a moisture vapor barrier and such things like that. A lot easier than I can teach somebody how to caulk, tape, putty, sand, paint, cut, roll, spray. It's
You know what?
just
You know what? On a foundational level, why that's a better play? It's because it's a repeatable, scalable. There's a quick what's called feedback loop. In other words, hey, we did that square last week. We're going to do that square again. We're going to do
mhm,
that square again, and eventually you can identify areas of improvement a lot faster than you can on a Venetian plaster that you get once a month or
right.
a faux once every 6 weeks. It's like then you wind up doing it. And that's
Yeah,
that's
that
where the
I
bottleneck is, right? Because you're like, dude, I can't trust you with this. They know our
no.
reputation, and I can't train you on this wall right now. We got to roll, right? Is that
Hmm.
usually how it goes?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
so I've seen it. I think what you've done is you've done what anyone would, man. You take the jobs that come your way. The pivot that you need to make though is the hardest thing in business, and that's learning how to say no.
Right.
Because whatever you allow is what the outcome's going to be. So step one, man, you got to understand like how to get you out of the business. So your day to day is sometimes you're working, right? Like you're
Yeah.
painting, aren't you?
We have a lot of interior exteriors going on, so I'm sitting at home, But if when it comes down to laying the art of the epoxy
Sure.
floor and how I want the grain lines to lay out and things like
Yeah.
that, I have to be there for
You
that.
got to be
I
there.
don't
You got to be
necessarily have to
present.
grind. I don't have to pour a
Yeah.
moisture vapor barrier, but the day that the art goes down, I have to be the one to do it.
Okay. Cool. Um.
So
So a couple things. First thing is how many team members you got full time?
I got two guys and myself. So
All right. So it's two full time. Okay. How'd you meet those guys?
one of them was a painter with me when I first moved here, and I was a foreman, he was under me, and we were probably the best two employees that a boss has ever seen. We used to murder stuff, man.
Yeah.
Uh, he stayed with the company later on, moved on to be project manager,
Okay.
and just after a while, just got tired of running 28 guys and all the excuses that comes with it, and said,
Shoot.
I'd rather come paint with you, Jed. And so, he's my project manager as well as my best friend, and that just kind of happened upon me. And then
Okay.
my youngest guy is basically still an apprentice. and he was just a friend of mine's son-in-law. So he
Nice.
moved here from Nevada. He needed a job, and I put him on, and he's been picking
Cool.
up things pretty quickly.
So in other
Luck.
words, luck. Right. You know, I was going to say that, but that's, but that's luck. And
Yeah.
hey, man, I love riding the wave of luck
Hmm.
and then jumping off the luck boat when my skill boat is being built. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. No, that's
use
where I'm at.
use the luck, and then while the luck is working, build your cruise ship and jump off that luck boat, man. And the thing is we got to start somewhere. So, for me, I look at vocabulary as a business owner. One of the things that you said, and sometimes you don't notice, that's why you're here. Maybe I can give you some insight on some things you might not be aware of, but you said, I have to be there. And I
Mm.
think that's got to change, and I know that's very hard for someone that's an artist, that's a
Mm.
technician like you. But is there a day where you're going to be able to pass the ball to this crew leader who's your best friend, who's you've seen his quality of work for years, his standard? Do you see yourself giving him the ball?
He's got a pretty good eye for it, but nobody's been able to replicate what I do exactly.
Has he been given a chance?
I think that if I were to give him some of the swirl jobs that we do, where it's a two-part color swirl, that wouldn't be a problem. But when it comes to, I mean, you'd have to see some of my floors to understand what I'm talking
Sure.
about. There's certain things that I think that, yeah, with enough practice, he could get there.
Sure. And here's the thing, like we want scalability first.
Right.
Okay. We want to build something. See, my strategy, Jet, is you build something first. And then if you want to be an artist, do your art
Mm-hmm.
on the side. Let's get
Right.
something sustainable and scalable first. Then you go in and do your magic, right? I'm not going to take that away from you. I like coaching on the side, dude. I'm doing this for free. I love this stuff. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do because I have a scalable, duplicatable, replicatable, profitable system happening on the side. That means I can even be more creative in the things that I actually really want to do.
Right.
Right. So if I'm coaching you, I'm saying, okay, first of all, how do we get your business to be independent? How does that happen? Well, the first step is we got to learn how to say no. The second thing is you need predictable marketing. You have to be able to predict what comes in through the phone.
Yeah.
How do you do that? You train the marketplace through ads to only engage with ads that create a call to action from a buyer who has that specific need.
Right.
Okay. So how do we do that? How have you been getting your jobs? Are any ads running? Are you spending any money on marketing?
No, not really. I have a friend that just started. He built my website for me, and
Okay.
he has been running some Facebook market or Facebook ads, and it's for
Are you
free.
happy with
It's
the
just kind of
results?
helping me out. I get about 3 leads sometimes when he runs it. So I say 3 leads a month. It's
How
not
much are you
something I pay
spending?
for.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
Okay. So are you prepared to make that shift?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. I listen to a lot of your podcasts, and that's why I called and got on this because I'm just trying to. I put money away, and I'm trying to get to the point where I need to
Yeah.
know exactly what to do. Obviously, I've heard you say what to do in many other podcasts, but
Well, it's different when you get on here and it's you, and I want to give you
yeah,
tailored advice. I don't want it to be like, rinse and cookie cutter because it's not.
right.
Everyone's got a different story. What stands out about you is that you are an artist. I could see it
Mm-hmm.
in you. I could feel it from the way you describe your work. I know
Mm-hmm.
that you do quality work. You're trying to target such a small demographic
Right.
that it's almost impossible to predict the results. It's almost like if Picasso were still around and he would just get 10 jobs a year and they take a month at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, but he's the one painting, and if he wants to, that's awesome. But dude, you have the skill set and the knowledge to create a scalable epoxy flooring company that
Mm-hmm.
just does epoxy, and you can crank out 100,000 a month because
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like you have a trainer's mentality, and not all of your customers want you to do a marble finish on the floor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Give me a percentage. When you get 10 epoxy customers, how many of them want a marble finish?
Two.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah, two. Okay. So there's 8 people that want a standard job,
Right.
right? Play for the majority because that's going to eliminate the cash flow stress. That's going to make you feel like you can actually free yourself, right? So when you look at this guy, I'm going to call him Joe, who's your A plus A hitter. He's your homie. Okay. If you have 10 epoxy jobs, he can do 8 of them without you stepping foot on the job because it's a
Right.
flake system. You know, you could train anyone to do that, right? That's a good thing. So you have the skill set and you have the knowledge, and those types of jobs are so easy for you that, dude, you could take that knowledge and just make an incredible amount of money with the right tools in place. And you need 3 things. Number 1, you need a marketing agency. You can't do it, and your friend being kind is great, but he's not going to do it for you because that's not what he specializes in. I tell people this all the time. Listen, when you jump on with a marketing agency, you're not just getting an agency to run ads for you. You are short circuiting the trial and error that all of their previous clients had to go through to where you now have the ability to capitalize on getting their best product because they're not going to let you down because it's a pay for performance. So if
Right.
you go with a long-standing marketing agency that's already ran 1,000 ads and across the board they look at all the ads and see which ones work, and not only that, you have marketing agencies that specialize in just getting epoxy flooring leads. Have you worked with any of these agencies? Have you sat in with any of these agencies? Have you had?
Yeah, I sat in with Service Legends, Danny with Service Legends, and
Okay. What
I
turns you off
told
about them?
what's say it again?
What turns you off?
Nothing turned me off. I wanted to talk to you first.
Okay.
I think that hiring's more important. I can't handle
Okay.
the amount of jobs that I think are going to come my way with 2
Got
guys
it.
and myself.
Got it. Hiring is very
And
important.
then 3K a month, basically something like that is what they're looking for, and supposedly I'd say generate 60 leads or something out of that. And I don't know that I need that much. I need to scale. I think at a at a growable rate. I don't need to
Yeah.
go from 0 to 100, and I don't
Okay.
need to pay
I'm going to
3,000
give
to
you a
do that.
perspective. I'm going to give you a perspective here. Okay. Remember, there's also this element that not many people give light to. Jedediah, I'll be honest with you. And that is the element of experience. You need to be submersed in the experience of how to manage and nurture leads, which you have no experience doing at a high level.
None,
Okay.
none.
That's a skill set that no one can teach you. I can't teach you that. You
Hmm.
need to understand what that feels like. And you also need the pressure of having to pay for the leads that'll give you the motivation to nurture them properly. Right.
Right.
Because it's not a priority right now. If they come in organic, you didn't pay for them. So if
Hmm.
they don't answer your call or they don't commit to a bid, it's not as serious as if, hey, I just paid this company $3,000. We're going to put a system in place to follow up with these leads.
Hmm.
That's a different mindset that you're going to get access to by putting in the $3,000 entry fee. Now,
Right.
second thing is you said, well, hiring is very important, but you already have the team. You
Hmm.
already have a team of 2 that could do 3 to 4 jobs a week.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So 3 to 4 jobs a week, average epoxy, and we're just going to go with the 80%. We're not talking about marble because the cool thing is you want to get fancy when you're selling epoxy jobs. You take the marble ones, they do the flake jobs.
Yeah.
So now you can actually put yourself in a position where you're doing 1 a week. And now we're
Right.
talking about a predictable revenue system. So you got 3 to 4 flake jobs a week on average size. What do those usually go for per?
2,500.
Okay, so that's 2,500. Okay, so if we do 4 of those, okay, we're at 10K a week. You said between 20 and 25,000 a month right now in revenue, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is without you working. This is the goal, right? So
Right.
let's break down the numbers. It's all numbers, man. So you got $10,000 of revenue a week doing 3 to 4. That's not even 1 per day, which most high level epoxy companies do. They do 1 day floors. Is that something you're familiar with?
Yes.
The polyaspartic system, 1 day in and out,
Yeah.
boom.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're not even maximized. Okay, so you're at 10K, that's 40K a month. Okay, and you still haven't stepped foot on the job site. Now you will, of course, as a manager, but you're not physically trading your sweat for the dollars, right? That's
Right.
$40,000 of passive income. That's the way I look at it because you're
Hmm.
not physically putting in the work. Now, you are the salesperson. You're going to
Yeah.
have to sell it. All right. So, just curious from your experience, only epoxy, and we're just talking about one thing. How many epoxy estimates do you need to close one job?
Probably 5, 4 or
5. So
5.
you're at a 25% closing ratio.
Right.
So in other words, if you go out and you do 4 estimates, you close one of them, 25%. I think honestly, you dial that in, you could get to 50 if you close them on the spot. Is that something you've ever done, or do you usually just like email the
I
quote?
never really try to pressure them like that. I know that it's a
Okay.
tactic, and I'd like to learn it. I know you got a school or whatever, and I'd like to
Sure.
probably figure out how to do that, but I've never been the type to pressure anybody. I just kind of put it in their hand and
Good.
walk away.
I'm the same way, and I think it's actually a better experience if you give someone a proposal in person.
Right.
Nobody likes to wait.
Yeah.
And
I
I
try
think
to do same day,
I
and
think
then
wait,
I
yeah,
use
I like
Invoice Simple. I try to
perfect.
get right on it. Normally, everything that I can enter into
Right.
Invoice Simple before I
If
get
you're
there, I
doing it,
already have it.
you and I both know you would like more sales more often. I promise you, if you're going to do the effort of getting that done the same day, where it's simply just a measurement times 7 or 6,
Hmm.
like the easiest quote ever, do yourself the service of just presenting it in person. You don't have to be a closer. You don't
Right.
have to battle the objections. But what's great about it is you have the ability to answer questions that naturally come out when someone sees a price that you're not getting access to when you email it. And this
Right.
is another skill that you need to learn. I'm going to tell you why. Because next level is when you free yourself from the sales. And
Hmm.
again, it's very hard for you to be confident in bringing on a salesperson if you haven't went through the process of actually selling. Now, again, you can have an office admin simply email it. That's completely up to you. I'm just saying be open to that because it's going to help you. Now, the last part of this, though, as I was saying, is that if your closing ratio is 25%, that means out of every 4, you sell 1. Okay. Now, this could be great for you because you're like, hey, I don't want to scale too fast. I want to scale at a good pace. That means you're raising your price, right? So, in other words, you sell jobs at such a high rate that that 20% is normal for you. And it's good because you can only handle a certain amount of capacity anyway. Is that true?
Right.
Cool.
Yes.
So if we need, let's say, 4 jobs a week, right? So let's multiply that. So that means at 25%, we need 16 estimates a week to get 4 jobs a week. Okay.
Hmm.
16 times 4 is 64 leads. So that $3,000 guaranteeing you 60 some leads is
Hmm.
exactly what we need
Gotcha.
to get to 10,000 a week with 2 guys. So that is your par. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's it. That's only epoxy, and that's taking them away from everything else. Do you think that's something you're prepared for? Because
Yeah,
you're gonna get,
absolutely.
dude, you're gonna get calls for house painting. You're gonna get calls for faux. You're gonna get calls for all these things. Like this is the commitment you need to make. So when you want to hand these keys over to a family member, a son, a daughter, whoever, it's like,
Hmm.
hey, I created this duplicatable, replicatable, profitable system for you where all you've got to do is manage the books every month and you make money. And that's going to require sacrifice. And the sacrifice here, in this case with you, is number 1, you got to say no. Number 2, you got to take the risk of hiring the marketing agency. And number 3, you've got to understand that hiring doesn't need to happen right now. You have
Okay.
you have two assassins. You put it
Hmm.
right. You guys are
Hmm.
murdering jobs, bro.
Hmm.
You got an apprentice and you got a guy who you trust with customers. I mean, you have the formula.
Right.
You need to turn on the car, brother. That's it.
Okay.
You don't even need to hire right now. They can only handle so much, and that's exactly what you would be paying for the marketing agency. Very rarely do I tell people they don't need to hire. You know this, but
Right.
you have the pieces of the puzzle. The problem is that they're taking so many random things, so they're just busy.
Right. Yeah, I
And
mean
if
that's
you,
where we're at now, just taking on anything. And so I was weary about the marketing, but I guess since you put it like that, if it's just going to be coming in, I have no problem taking it on painting or anything like that because it's just not as profitable.
It's not that. It's also the fact that we got to understand what our end goal is. I mean,
Right.
anything that we set out to do, because here's the thing, anything you want, there's going to be sacrifice. So that when you have something that you want over here, like a goal, then the sacrifice doesn't have a lot of weight to it because you know in your heart that you're going to achieve that goal. You've already
Hmm.
seen success here. It's not like you're working a 9 to 5 like some of these guys that come on here and I have to explain, like, hey, once you start selling jobs, you're not going to stop. Like, dude, you've been here. Like,
Hmm.
use this experience and say, you know what? I've got to create these boundaries. It's going to be hard, but what's going to happen is once you start seeing that it's only epoxy leads coming in, it's going to be really easy for you to turn down that drywall job. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That popcorn removal job that came your way somehow. The freaking, and I'm not saying you can't do this stuff. I'm just saying you need to put a pause on it until you get the system in place. And
Nice.
I'm going to venture to say that you're probably wanting to elevate this individual that's been riding with you for a long time. You probably want to give him an easier day, more money. You want to elevate
Absolutely.
him in some way. That's natural, right? This guy's been your second hand.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
he
probably,
comes from a background of running 28 guys. So if I can get to the point where I have two epoxy crews, and he can just run them, then I'm
brother,
really free.
brother, this is possible. There's people doing it. They're just
Right.
doing epoxy.
Right.
And you're at a time right now with the way Facebook works and this social media advertising that you could really capitalize and build a brand around coatings, not everything. It's so important, man. It's so important because you have a capacity. You have resources. As a business owner, the way you need to see yourself, everyone likes chief executive officer. Dude, you need to be the chief efficiency officer. See, I like efficiency better. You got to
Mm-hmm.
look like this. You have two resources. Your job is to maximize those resources. They're not maximized on house painting. They could be maximized on epoxy.
Right.
And that's becoming increasingly popular. You know why it's popular? Because of all the new construction that's happening, all these bare concrete floors. Now's
Mm-hmm.
the time.
Yeah. And especially here, they're building like crazy. So
Crazy. Every one of them needs
crazy.
epoxy. I would listen, if you know how to do it, look, if I can go back, I'd probably do it because of how I'm serious. I tried it. I have a story. I don't know if you've heard my story about it, but it was terrible. Um,
I have it.
Yeah. So sorry, man. My camera's giving me
You're
trouble.
good.
But yeah, man, dude, you wanna shift gears. I mean, that's gonna be key for you is to shift gears and to identify like, man, like you have an opportunity of a lifetime here, to capitalize on.
Nice.
Yeah, this thing. Can you see me? Okay. No,
Yeah,
it's
hold
not. It's
on.
not. It's not coming.
Mine's messing up now too. There we go.
No worry.
I
Thing.
don't
The
see
thing's
you, but
burning up.
it's all good.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
hear
We can
you.
keep running. Yeah, we could talk. So what other questions you have, man? Anything else top of mind?
Uh, no, not really. I just that was my biggest thing. I think you answered a lot of my questions because I'm kind of all over the place, and I just focus on that one thing, frees up all my time and all my energy from all those other avenues to just focus on this. I like what Danny and them were talking about over at Service Legends. I know you deal with forward marketing as well, so I wouldn't mind doing a video or whatever, a tutorial with them as well, just
Yeah,
to
I
go
would.
over it.
Yeah, man. I think when it comes to a marketing agency, you really want a proven track record of success. You want to talk to people that work with the marketing agency. I think we're at
Hmm.
that time now where I would say like do not hire a marketing agency unless you've actually spoken to somebody who's gotten results from that marketing agency. Like
Okay.
that should be like you should not hire them until they give you 3 or 4 references of people that they've actually worked for that are getting results. They get on the phone and say, "Dude, this was one of the best decisions I've made." And that puts everybody at on notice
Right.
because you shouldn't be going into a marketing agency blindly. They should be able to say, "Hey, we did this for this person. We did this for this person. These are the ads you can expect. This is what we're running." And it's like, dude, here's something that will also happen that people don't really think of, but I do because it's what I do. But I would say one of the things is if you get burned by a marketing agency, your energy level to go with another one is going to be depleted, dude. Like you might, it will be like you could honestly look at that and say, I'm never hiring a freaking marketing agency again.
Exactly how I feel right now. It's a gamble, three
It's a
thousand
gamble.
dollars a month, and it takes. Let's say it doesn't pop off on the first month. It takes, 2 months, 3 months. Now I'm 9 grand in it, and if I didn't see results, I mean that's a lot. That could hurt me.
It could. So you need the results and you need a proven track record, but you also want to make sure though that like you're understanding the expectations that are your responsibility, and that is the lead nurturing, which is your responsibility, staying in touch with your leads and closing the jobs, man. Like most of the time, people get upset with their marketing agency not because of anything other than the fact that it's a sales problem and it's not a lead problem, you know. And it's like you have to understand like how Facebook leads really work. I'm going to break this down for you so you go in with the right expectations.
Okay.
And sorry, man, this program doesn't let me switch the camera here. I think my camera just like burnt up. I don't know.
All
I
good.
was giving the heat, bro. I don't know. That might have been it. So listen. So what I want you to understand is that Facebook, and you might have heard me say this, but I just want you to know that, like, dude, these people are going to see an epoxy job and they're going to be inspired, right? Like they weren't thinking about it. Most people, they don't know that you can do that, or they didn't know anyone that could do that. And when they inquire, and this is the part of that training that I told you about, like that you need to go through. You need to understand like how your customers buy at a deep level. You got to understand, dude, they're not in the mental space to buy. You got to turn them into a buyer.
Is there someone that does this type of training? Is there classes or something like that? Or is it something you learn as you go?
Well, I mean, dude, like sales training in general is going to be, you know, it's going to be half of it's going to be your own experience. And then you're going to do some training and reference your own experience, dude. Like you
Right.
can't, you can't like, you got to look at it like that. So I think like the best training is going to be you just getting on the phone with somebody and them saying, oh, I'm not interested. And you'll be like, what do you mean? Like you put in your information, like you're not interested. And you have to understand there's layers to that. And I know that you don't want to be pushy. I know that you're not that type of guy that wants to move the needle. But again, remember we talked about it. Survival versus thriving requires an uncomfortable level of aggression toward getting sales. Like you have to understand that that's what the way you perceive sales is, the fact that like that's the legacy there. Like you can't, that's the legacy for this foreman that you like. It's like
Right.
if you guys are selling left and right, dude, that's inspiring, bro. Like that's awesome. Like everyone's happy in your company, and as long as you do great work and you're honest and you're integral and you do everything the right way, which I know you do, like you should not feel any other way when you sell other than I'm doing you a service by convincing you to go with me. Like
Right.
that's how it's got to be. So with
Yeah.
that said, play to your strengths. Like the next move might be you need an office admin that has some sales experience if that's not your style, because she'll be the one on the phone with them, converting them to appointments. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like, dude, like you might not be that person, but you know what? Find somebody that is.
Yeah.
Chief
That makes
efficiency
sense.
officer. Dude, yeah. So see if this thing comes on. This thing's annoying me. So, but yeah, it's
The
it's
office bulldog.
yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. What the hell is going on with this thing? So,
Uh,
in any case, though, I don't want to overtalk you, man. I just see a
no, I
lot of
appreciate everything.
potential, dude. There's so much here for you. You have, I mean, you don't understand what's in front of you right now. When I look at a business owner or somebody, I can tell you care. I can tell you want to grow. I can tell you're ready. You don't need to hire right now. Like I think yes, you do need a strategy. Like don't get me wrong. Like you can't not know how to find talent. Like that's gonna come.
Yeah.
But if you solve the lead problem right now, it's off to the races, man.
Nice.
And you just need to project the numbers the way I just did. It's like, what is our average job size? How many of those jobs can we perform in a week? How many leads does it take to get to a job? That means how many leads do we need? Oh, we need 64 leads to do 4 jobs a week to clip $10,000 in revenue, which is why it's going to be more. You're going to sell more. That's just a low ball. So
Cool.
anything
Awesome, man.
else?
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the painters out here because, we didn't have podcasts like this or anything that talked about anything specific to our trade. And it's been a huge blessing for me to be able to listen to these and,
Yeah, man.
just hear these conversations with guys who are out here living and doing what I'm doing. And thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
for taking the time and this being your passion to put it out because it's helping people.
Good, man. Dude, I'm here for you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Build your legacy, man. I think one of the greatest things anyone can do is give their kids or a family member a business that's thriving, man. That's financial legacy, dude. That's a powerful thing. So if I can
Yeah,
help
it's
you in
not
any
something
way,
my
man.
parents left me, so I just trying to, break that curse
Yeah,
and make sure I have something to
how
give
nice
them.
would that have been, right?
It's really nice.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with
Yeah.
All right, man. God bless you in your journey. I'm gonna send you
Yeah,
a
man.
text message with some resources and we'll touch base soon.
Cool, man. Thank
All
you
right,
so
brother.
much.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.